What's up, guys? We are back, and we're looking at the 7th pick of our season. And so far, we're looking really good. We're looking at a total of $2,274, and that's starting with Week 1 college football. Investing $500 initially into this, and then you get every bet. Obviously, you're racking up more profit, and so we have a total of $2,274 right now. Absolutely. So that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to get everyone at the end of the season $10,000 profit. $10,000 profit. You actually want to take some off the table mid-season just to give yourself some security, but you can't get that kind of interest at a bank or off the stock market or cryptocurrency. I don't know. You could possibly hit a SHIB or a Dogecoin or some bullcrap like that, but we've been doing this investing in sports for about 10, 11 years, and it's always been pretty profitable. I'm not going to tell you it's going to make you rich, that's for sure. We've never gotten rich, so I wouldn't be here doing this if I were driving Lamborghinis and Bentleys and pretending to be some Elon Musk type. But I'm telling you that if you're safe, if you're disciplined, if you follow what we're doing, if you don't get involved in too many picks from other teams, because it can get pretty convoluted with 20 different games on college football Saturday, and then you got another 16 something games on NFL Sunday, then you got a Thursday night game, a Monday night game. You might try to push it. If you go to Reno, then you're betting everything that you see. You're trying to, there's so many mistakes that people make. We've done all of them. That's why we kind of know what to do. We've made all the mistakes. So we found out, you try things, you try different things, and we're just trying to take some of the headache out of it, and we're bringing it to YouTube so that we can kind of pass it on and show you what it is to do. So, I could go through the many things that we've done. We've called people, had them on the phone, they're like mafia type, and they're talking about, they have information. They always talk about information. And, they were pretty good, but, I believe that they're just giving 50% of the people one pick, and then the next 50% of people that call, they're giving another pick. I don't believe they're honest. And then you have other people that pick every single game. They pick every single game, and they tell you their thoughts on the Jets, the Raiders, and then they tell you the Saints. And they tell you every single game, and it ends up getting to be too many games. You need to really nitpick. You need to be a little bit, what did we do today? We picked the San Francisco 49ers to win the game. Now we've built up a little bit of a bankroll, so we can risk a little bit more so that we can win a little bit, but I don't really care. If you have $500 and you win $50, something like that, that's $50. That's $50 you add to your profit, and that's healthy. You want to keep it growing, keep it growing. You want to stay in the win column. If you're not too sure, we don't make a pick. We might not make a pick on a Friday night. We're looking at tomorrow's college football games, and I don't know if we're going to make a pick because we have some strong inclination towards San Jose State and Air Force, but I can't say that that's something that we're going to play for sure. Obviously, we have our crew that kind of gets together, and we bump heads, and we talk about it, and if someone vetoes the pick, then that's not what happens. Someone vetoes how much we put on it, that's not what happens, because you know what, we get carried away. I get carried away. We all have our biases and our favorites, so we try to veto each other so that we can come up with the safest picks, no matter how strong someone feels about it, no matter how strong someone fights for it. We have to look at the numbers. We have to see what we believe is a good pick. And, this is one that we all felt really strongly about. We weren't sure about how much to bet, because you never want to really risk 75% of your bankroll. That's really not something that you want to do. Freak things happen. I had a game where the Cowboys were at home against the Jets, and the Jets were just terrible. I believe they lost their quarterback. I believe they lost 2 quarterbacks, and the Jets just came in and destroyed the Cowboys. And I couldn't believe it. I'm banging my head against the wall trying to figure out why this is happening to me. But, those things happen. I mean, there was another game, I think, at the very beginning when we started doing the really safe bets. It was the Patriots versus the Browns. And the Browns had lost, I don't know how many quarterbacks, but they were down to Terrell Pryor from Ohio State. And we took our whole bankroll and we went all in on the Patriots. And the Patriots, I was sweating because it's our whole bankroll. But the professor, he had no qualms about it. He was all in. He was sure, and sure enough, they ended up destroying them, kind of like today's game. But if you're getting something like minus 500, I think that's a very good value for something that's so guaranteed. We calculated this game today to be a 90% win. Where do you get that? When do you get that from? Anywhere. I mean, all the stars were right. We could have went minus 10, and we were talking about that, but let's just take the money and run. That has to be a good philosophy every now and then. But if we see a spread that's close and it's not a problem, I mean, you just have to decide. You have to talk about it. You have to figure it out. That's why we release these picks to you, and we give you the best ones that we can come up with. We're looking at tomorrow's games. And you got Boise State at San Diego. Boise State has been kind of a disappointment. They have the quarterback that they were getting ready to be number 1 in their division, but it looks like they've kind of fallen to number 4. And San Diego State has taken a step back as well. So we're not really sure where to go with that game. I like the over in the San Jose State game. It's at 45. And then you're getting 6 points with San Jose State. I like Cordero, the quarterback. I like the wide receivers. It's not the wide receivers from last year that they had that were great. But Air Force is kind of a mystery. They've played some tough teams, but they are number 1 in defense in college football. And that's kind of misleading. 3 games. You played Sam Houston. You played Robert Morris. It's like, who the heck is that? They did destroy Utah State. So that's kind of a legit team, kind of on their level, their tier. But if Air Force comes in and destroys San Jose State, I'm going to think a lot about them. But I don't think that they're too much above. I don't think they're 6 points better than San Jose State. In fact, I think San Jose State has a good chance at winning it. I'll have to look into it. Maybe there's some kind of injury that I'm missing, because it went from -4 all the way to -6. So that's a big jump for being at home. And Air Force is traveling. So I don't know about that game. I don't know if we'll release it, but we're really looking at that game. The professor is leaning towards Air Force, and I'm leaning towards San Jose State, so we're going to see what we can do. There's a game that we're really talking about on Sunday that it's probably not one we're going to bet on, but man, they have a little bet going on. We got the professor and Ace. they're going at it at this one game on Sunday. They got Atlanta at Detroit. I kind of started it with picking Atlanta, but the professor's all in on Detroit. He's all in on Matt Stafford. He's fallen in love with him, and he is trying to convince us that Matt Stafford is the next coming. And as we all know, that he is not. He is the Cal quarterback who's a stat whore. Forgive me. No disrespect. It's just a phrase. If Stafford is listening, oh my gosh, I always get these two confused. Jared Goff. If Jared Goff is listening, I always get Stafford and Goff mixed up. I kind of think of them as the same player. They're not too far off. They did get traded for each other in a crazy little swap. But yeah, we're talking about Jared Goff there in Detroit. And Ace is talking about Ritter over in Atlanta, that he's proven himself well before at Cincinnati. So that's a big game that we're watching anyways. There's some side bets between those guys, and they are betting on that game. I'm going for Atlanta. I really think Atlanta plus 3 points. They're very healthy. Detroit's losing their number one receiver and their number one running back, and they're very heavy into those players. It's not like they spread the ball around to a whole bunch of players. They do have also the second receiver he probably has 100 yards and the most targets, but he is also looking injured with a groin injury. So, and they're missing their cornerback, but I don't think that really factors in because Atlanta is not a throwing team. The Falcons are not a throwing team. And I don't even know why I'm talking about that, because we got college football Sunday, but college football Saturday. But Sunday, that game, we will all be here. We will be looking at that game. There's money involved. There's push-ups involved. There's pride involved. There's SH talk. There's a lot going on with that game, and that's a stupid game for us to waste our brain energy. I guess we call it an exercise because we're trying to find the safest locks and picks. But that's what happens when you're trying to decipher which game is safe. You got one person leaning one way and another person leaning another way. So that calls a miss. I got a couple of games that I'm looking at. Let's go over to the games that we have here. So I'm really looking at this. So this is the San Jose State Air Force game. You got the Michigan Rutgers. Rutgers is looking really good this year, but I don't think I think that's a stay away. It's a little bit, but Harbaugh is back, so I think they might be able to cover that spread for once. I think they've missed out on the last 3 spreads, and it's going to catch up to them eventually. It always catches up. We got Florida State at Clemson. That's an interesting one, but I'm waiting for Florida State. I think Florida State Duke is going to be a good game. We're looking at, what are we looking at? Well, I've got this Ole Miss Alabama game. Let me see if I can find it for you guys. But Ole Miss at Alabama, and Ole Miss started at 7, but it's now at 6.5. We are looking at the, let's see, Ole Miss at Alabama, Colorado at Oregon. Ooh, I like that game. Colorado at Oregon. Holy smokes, I can't wait. I can't wait for Colorado to get smashed. If it goes the opposite direction, obviously I'm still up in the air about this Colorado team, but Colorado at Oregon, I think it's about time. For me, I'm saying that Oregon's looking at Colorado and they want to put them in their place, that they're tired of hearing about Deion Sanders and the Sanders brothers playing at Colorado. They're missing Travis Hunter because he took that big hit at the Colorado State game. it's just all arrows are pointing towards Oregon. Oregon is stacked. They have an offensive line that is, and not even a defensive line that's just the defensive line. You have some linebackers who step up and they get at it. They get to the quarterback. So they're just stacked in the front. The secondary doesn't look too strong, but I think that they can just overpower them in front, get them to make bad decisions. You got Sanders at the quarterback. I think that he's going to make some bad decisions. He's just bound. He's just due. I mean, they made some bad decisions last week versus Colorado State, and they barely got off, but they don't even have the talent that Oregon has, easily, obviously ranked 10. You got UCLA at Utah. I think UCLA are pretenders, and I've been saying it all year that Utah is the number one team in the Pac-12. And wow, all these games at 12:30. Man, it's too much. It's too much for me to watch. It's just exhausting. I love watching these games, and if you go to Reno or Vegas and you're watching these games, it's a lot of fun, but it is exhausting. It is exhausting. It's a lot of energy, and it's hard to keep those picks safe when you have such strong vibes towards these teams. So a couple things. Utah has a heck of a streak. I forget what it is, but playing at home, they are dominant. Cam Rising is back. He got one game under his belt last week, and he did all right, but I expect him to be at full health this game. They're probably saving him. He was probably full health last game, but he's definitely full health this game. And then we're looking at Ole Miss at Alabama. Everyone knows Alabama's having those problems at quarterback, but they're having problems at running back. They're having problems all over. And you could say that quarterback solves those issues, but I don't think that's the case. I think you're going to have a problem. Every position, the defense, nothing looks like it's really gelling. And I was told that Saban was talking to his players, and he was trying to calm them down. He was trying to make them feel good. He was trying to make them, and that's just not the way Saban is. Saban is very direct. He tells his players, stop crying, stop whining, every other year. But this year, they don't have the stomach for it. So that's a bad sign. And Ole Miss has been drooling for the moment where they can put it on Alabama and put them to rest. Now, Georgia's on top in the SEC, but Alabama has been the king for so long. Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin, Jackson Dart. You got those wide receivers that are putting up numbers. The running backs are putting up numbers. Everyone's putting up numbers. Obviously, the Lane Kiffin offense just doesn't stop. But the defense looks good. That's what I'm kind of interested in. This looks like a complete Ole Miss team. And you know, we've rode with Duke twice in our bankroll bets. So we're kind of trying to ride that out. It's going to be like the Houston or Western Kentucky of previous years that just come out of nowhere and the line doesn't catch up. People don't really see what's going on here, but they are having these great lines towards them, and they're not really expected to be good because they're Duke basketball. It outshines them every year, but this is an actual football team that can possibly get into the college football championship playoff. I don't know if they will run the board, but they got to run the board. And the way it lines up, it's looking pretty good. So they're playing UConn this week, which looks like a look-ahead game. I believe the spread is only like 21 or something like that. And that's kind of scary how it's so low, because it was 17 last week, and that was against a pretty good team. But UConn is terrible, and that shouldn't even be on their level. So, but Duke is playing Notre Dame next week. Woo! Talk about a game. Talk about a game that I want to see. Man, that's going to be exciting. I cannot wait to see Duke show up. And it's at Duke. So that will be pretty darn exciting. And other than that, I am looking at this Maryland-Michigan State because Michigan State's dealing with all the allegations with their coach, and they're trying to fire their coach. And Maryland is shooting on all cylinders coming off of the second half. They have a long week because they played last Friday. So they're coming over to Michigan State. Michigan State's without a quarterback. In fact, they're still paying the quarterback, but they're trying to get out of, the coach, but they're trying to get out of his contract. So that will be very interesting to look into. But other than that, we got Tennessee over here. They need to jump back. They got beaten down by Florida in a miserable showing, and Tennessee is a good team. They are the same team from last year that had all those great games, high scoring. I forget his name, Hooker or something like that. But other than that, let's see what we got for you tomorrow. Hit that subscribe button. Let's see what we can do for our next bankroll pick. But keep track of us. Hold us accountable. Like I said, call us buffoons if we're lying about a pick. But we released the picks. You check them out. Did you really think the 49ers were going to lose today against the Giants? I don't think you did. So what's the problem? Why can't you do this? You could do it. It's not brain surgery. I keep saying that because it's not. It's just simply discipline. It's discipline, and it's deciding which games have that upset kind of view to it. It's about looking into the games. It's about finding out the injuries. It's about finding out the angles. And you get your angle right here, so you don't have to look into it. You get your ideas, you get your statistics, and we put it together, and we just release it to you. All you got to do is make the pick. All you got to do is hold us accountable. So let us know where you are in your bankroll. You probably haven't been with us since week 1, but if you're not, we can kind of adjust it to where you are. And if you made it this far, congratulations. But I will see you next time.